What's up, Savages? Yesterday marked the day of team changes going into UMG Philly. Words were tweeted, opinions were stated, and I was there watching the entire time. It was hysterical. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gandhi's Thoughts, brought to you by My Nutrition. You got it, am Gandhi. But before we get into today's team changes, I have to talk about something that is a very pressing issue. Pringles is going way too crazy with their ideas of flavors. White chocolate Pringles. My mother purchased these the other day. They are the foulest thing of all time. Not only did they keep the shape of the Pringle, it just tastes like crap. I think we need to start boycotting Pringles in the sense that they don't need to reinvent the wheel. They were good with what they had. Their sour cream and onion, good, right? That's a tasty chip. Their salt and vinegar, probably the best chip, period. But this, how dare you? How dare you, Pringles? You have one angry customer on your hands, and it's me. Fucking jackasses. Like, why would they think white chocolate is good on a chip, in like a chip form? Whatever. Anyways, so yesterday, team change city. We are going to start from the best team and kind of work our way down. And by, of course, the best team, I mean the number-ranked seeded team. That's, of course, going to be Complexity. Complexity decided to part ways with Clayster, and they acquired Karma from Team EnvyUs. Now, let's wind it back just a little bit here. Now, everyone's obviously going to think it is absolutely crazy that Complexity, after winning 7 of the 8 previous events here, going all the way back to Black Ops 2, are retarded. Well, not retarded, because that word sucks. I don't even know why I use that. Are foolish for making that team change. Now, hold the phone right there. 1, I can understand exactly where you all are coming from. But sometimes there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that a lot of people just don't see. To me, this just spews personality problems, right? Not necessarily that it's a personality problem like as a whole, but I think it was just probably just a clash. I mean, Aches is a guy who, some people are going to get along with, other people aren't. Clayster is a guy who has a very, very different life than a lot of other people. I mean, he goes to, I want to say he goes to West Virginia University. For those of you who don't know, WVU is a crazy party school. That's how it is. So he's trying to juggle school, partying, and being a professional Call of Duty player all at the same time. I've gone through the same thing. And what ends up happening is you get too caught up in real life and you treat your teammates like shit. I can relate to this completely because this is exactly what I did in 2008. That's how I got dropped off of Carbon. So is that the case? No idea. I do know that they had a very, very hard time getting Clayster to get on in practice, and they always want to continue to grind. They don't want to ever not be the best team. So I can understand where they're coming from. Now, fast forward to the present. Right? Like, jump to the present, right? They now have Karma. Grabbing Karma severely dents EnvyUs. That really, really cripples really what they were going for the entire time. I mean, Karma was kind of becoming like the full brand of Envy. There was not a single game at Columbus where he did not have 10 kills in Search and Destroy. 10 kills. That's a lot of kills in a Search and Destroy, especially versus the elite players in the game. So it's going to be interesting to see who they get, even though I already know, but I'm just going to save it for the video's sake, right? Because I'm like, what's up with it? But Karma joining Complexity. Number 1, my first concern. Okay, we're going to start with concerns, and then I'm going to go from there. My first concern is Clayster was the AR. Clayster was traditionally the player who kind of hung back. Karma is not an AR. He may use it occasionally. We've seen him use it on, like, Raid Capture the Flag with Envy in Black Ops 2. But that's basically about it. From there, he's really a sub player, right? That's what he is. Not a subpar player, but he's a sub-machine player. So now that begs the question, who on Complexity is going to change their role from being a sub? It's obvious it's not going to be TP. I'll tell you that right now. TP, if they change TP's role, this team's going to go straight down into the shitter. TP is probably the best objective player in the game, period. As some people want to say Rambo, I say no, you're foolish moving forward. it has to be Crim 6, and then with that said, I mean Crim 6 running an AR, he's always been versatile. Like he's a very, very good player. But it's still, how's that gonna help? Is that gonna help? How's the team dynamic going to change now? So I think though that's like basically my main concern. But some maps like Freight Domination, Freight in general, where you can get away with running 4 subs, it's gonna be bonkers. They are going to steamroll just about every single team on maps where you can get away with pushing 4 subs when the time calls for it. So it's gonna be pretty fucking wild. I think this team's obviously it's still the #1 team in my opinion. I still think they are the team that everyone has to beat. And the one thing that's important to note is a lot of people are going to talk about chemistry, right? A lot of amateur players or a lot of pseudo personalities or personalities are gonna be like, oh well, how's the chemistry? When you keep 3/4 of your team, you still have a lot of chemistry, right? When you acquire that 4th, it's basically just fitting in the puzzle piece. It's just like, okay, yeah, man, here we go, here you go. And that's why when I heard that, like, when I called rumor, when I was like, oh shit, Complexity's gonna make a team change. I see you. I was thinking they were gonna grab an AR, maybe Proofy, right? Or someone like that, just because, then it's just like, they don't have to change anything. It was just like, okay, you have an AR, you're used to how we play, that's what we're gonna do. You play the exact same role you always play, we're just gonna play. But that's not what happened. They grabbed Karma. I think Karma's gonna be, it's gonna be disgusting to watch. But I still want to know who's gonna switch over to the AR. Now, jumping to the next team, the 2nd place team, they made a team change. I don't know why I drank water like right in mid-sentence. Which is like, oh, fuck it. They made a team change. Was it their choice? No. No, it wasn't. TK loses GoonJar to Team EnvyUs. What? Right? Like, that's just about as crazy as these fucking white chocolate Pringles. If you can't tell, I am very disappointed with the white chocolate Pringles. Anyways. So, once Karma leaves for Complexity, EnvyUs doesn't have a 4th. So we are not sure no one has any idea what's going to happen. Then, before we know it, GoonJar announces that he is joining Team EnvyUs. This makes no sense for the sense being pennies and shit, being money, right? I just can't wrap my mind around it. TK has outplaced EnvyUs the entire time since forming together. What the fuck is TK gonna do? Who are they gonna grab? Who can they grab? Anyways, we'll get to that later. GoonJar decides that he wants to be on Team EnvyUs. He's always liked Team EnvyUs. He loves the colors. He loves the brand. He loves everything. EnvyUs is a big organization, obviously. It goes Optic, and then from Optic, it then goes to EnvyUs, so it makes sense. Fan favorite, I understand everything. I understand, like, the whole pursuit of money. But when you are 1 game away from dethroning Complexity, in 1 game, I think it came down to a couple rounds in Search and Destroy. When you're 1 game away, you stick together. You have to dethrone the best first before making a team change just because you want to be on the team. Like, that's it's idiotic, right? Like, what's more important? Like, you joining a team that you've always wanted to join or that you've been a fan of, or you dethroning the team who seems to be a complete dynasty. What is someone going to remember more? You joining a team and just staying right around the 3rd place all the way down to 12th place because Envy's that they fluctuate so much. What's more important, you doing that or you beating the #1 team and shocking the fucking world? I'll tell you what, shocking the fucking world. And I know everyone's going to be like, oh, well, anyone can change it up based by your tone and your infliction on words. Fuck you, okay? It's a dumb move. Moving forward, don't care. Jumping down the list. Everyone knows Curse Las Vegas, right? This is going to be the catch-up. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet because this wasn't yesterday. Curse Las Vegas acquires Killa for Stainville. Moving forward, Stainville goes to Unite. Moving forward. God, there's so much shit that happened. It's crazy. So EnvyUs has acquired GoonJar. Is GoonJar going to be a good fit? I don't know how GoonJar is actually going to end up playing on EnvyUs. GoonJar, AR player, plays the exact same role as Proofy and Merc. So it's gonna be interesting. A lot of players are gonna have to switch their roles because GoonJar should not be switching at all. GoonJar was dropping bombs at Columbus. If he goes on to Team EnvyUs and he changes his playstyle, I'm going to be upset. And I'm also going to tell him he's stupid because he was way too good at Columbus to just come into Envy and then just change his role. Doesn't make sense. Moving down the list, we saw as Optic decided to trend on Twitter worldwide because they decided to drop one player. My God, the power of Optic is something that is just unparalleled at this point. It is insane. A player gets released and they just instantly trend. It's amazing. I'm kind of jealous, but anyways, it's what it is. So, who did they drop? JKap, because obviously if you clicked on the left side of Twitter, you would see Optic and you would see JKap dropped. JKap being dropped, I don't think anyone was very surprised with. Hex and the entire organization, when you get top 16, when you're traditionally never placing outside of the top 4 or top 3, I forget what Optic's like in sanctioned MLG events, right? Like everyone always talks about other events, but I only care about MLGs for me, right? I know Gfinity, they didn't have a good play, but when you place outside of the top 3, top 4, and then you would make that even worse by placing outside of the top 8, and then you take it a step further and you make it even worse and place outside of the top 12 when you're always in the top 3, a team change is inevitable. There is nothing you can do about it. You have to make the move. So, why JKap? To be honest, I don't know a lot about Optic. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I do. But if I had to guess, I would assume because personality clash, maybe, but I think it's just the fact that he wasn't in the house at the time, or he was in the house at the time. To be honest, don't know. I really don't. I don't know a lot about Optic. I don't know how their team changes work. I don't understand how it all goes into place, but what I do want to know is who's going to be the 4th, right? There's a couple options already out there, and they can basically grab anyone because the power of Optic's insane, as we've already said, right? I think the number 1 pick, so this is just to preface everything here, okay? Instead of talking about, like, why they made the team change, because, God, I don't know. I just don't know. I really don't, and I'm not going to pretend I do. I can make assumptions for everyone else. I don't know, and I don't really give a shit as to why they dropped JKap. More interested as to who they're going to pick up. Now, this begs the question, okay? If I'm Optic, I would feel like my best option is going to be grabbing Clayster. Now, Clayster is going to bring a new dynamic to Optic if this does happen, and that's because Optic, when they're hyped, as we saw at Anaheim 2013, they play very, very well. Clayster is always going to be hyped all the time, but here's the thing. If Clayster wasn't grinding, right, because that's what the word you use in Call of Duty is, grinding, not playing. If Clayster wasn't grinding, then he's not going to really make it on Optic. Because on Optic, you're going to be grinding, especially since they were making a new team change. As we saw with JKap when they dropped Merc, they were playing all the fucking time. Like, all day. They were playing, right? Clayster, I don't know how that's going to work out with him. So, I'm going to put a question mark on him. But I would say that Clayster is the best option. The best option for Optic. Okay? Number 2, the second pick. I think the second pick here for me is going to be Unite's Ricky. I think Ricky's been playing a lot of GBs with them, like game battles and stuff like that. But, he's close to Chicago. He's able to go into the house and he's able to work out. Now, Ricky's a very, very humble guy, and he's a hell of a player. He's one of the better players that I've seen, and at Columbus, he did a very, very good job. But I don't know. I really don't know what they're looking for in the team. And that's something that's, I guess that's the most important part. Obviously, they need someone who they're going to get along with. Optic kind of prides themselves on their friendships, or at least to my understanding they do. So I could see, I think Ricky may be the fourth. Now, if you take it another step further, I mean, TK also is in need of a fourth. Okay? Would it be Clayster? Right? TK Clayster. Like, that team would really, really benefit from Clayster. I'll tell you what, Clayster and Goon, at least they both run ARs, but Clayster's going to bring a lot of fucking hype to TK, and TK is already a really, really hyped up team. You throw Clayster in the mix, and you have a very deadly and scary team. So it really is going to depend on what Clayster does right off the break, but if I were a guessing man, which I am, I'm a better, I would say that we will see Optic grab Ricky, and then we will probably see Clayster join TK. That's all I got. Other than that, I love you, but I don't love you. Stay tuned. Also, by the way, closing screen, Maven's story. Soon-ish. I have been working on it. And I traveled all weekend, so I've been working on it. It is going to be glorious.